Hey, everybody. I'm so excited to tell you something that we're doing new here at Central Lutheran called Everybody's Welcome Podcast. And we created this podcast specifically thinking about you. And we want to be honest with you. We love our Wednesday gatherings. We love our Sunday gatherings where we gather and we worship together. We're singing songs together. We're giving together. We're hearing stories together. We're hearing messages together. But what we want to do is we want to go deeper with you, and we want to help you make connections outside of our Sundays and our Wednesdays. And so we want to highlight people. We want to highlight people who are very important in our community, people who just love our city called Chippewa. And so we want to bring this podcast to you in all the natural ways that you typically receive content. So we're going to do this over YouTube and wherever you stream podcasts. And they say, here's the cool thing. They say on average, the average person spends 30 minutes every day in a car. So we want you to listen in, whether it's at car drive or when you're at the gym working out, because that's where I'm at, obviously, right? Or maybe it's at home when you're doing some things around the house, but we want you to have a place where you can continue the conversation and to help you make more connections. So we are going to highlight leaders in our communities. We're going to highlight small business owners. We're going to highlight teachers and parents, construction workers. We're going to highlight bands and many, many people that we want to highlight in the Chippewa community. And we're going to be interviewing people just like you. And here is what is exciting about this. And here's what excites us. Our city is blowing up and it's growing up and it's flourishing. And we want to be a church that is a huge fan of anyone and everyone who is doing amazing things in our communities. And we love what God is doing here in Chippewa. And so we are going to highlight a lot of stuff on here, like favorite restaurants or maybe wineries or favorite places to visit or concerts or festivals. But most of all, we are going to be talking about people. We're going to be talking to people about what makes our city so great. And what makes Chippewa so great? It's the people of our city. And so we want to know things like, why did you move here? What did you know about Chippewa that drew you to Chippewa? Why did you open the business here in Chippewa? Or why did you write that song? Or why did you write that book? And we're going to be asking those questions so that you know more about what makes Chippewa so great. And our very first episode of Everybody's Welcome podcast is going to drop next month. And because of that, we are super excited, and I'm going to be the host of this podcast, and so I'm really excited to get to know more people in this community. So here's what we want you to do. We want you to simply subscribe, because when an episode drops each month, we want you to be the first to get it. So subscribe to YouTube, iTunes, wherever it may be, but subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss an episode. And here's what we believe drives this podcast. We believe that every person has a story to tell, and everybody's welcome. So welcome again. I am your host, Aaron Sturgis, and I want to welcome all of you here who are watching and are listening in here at the 4 Chippewa studio that is located in beautiful downtown Chippewa. And joining me today on our very first intro episode is Tiffany Howard.
So honored to be here.
Yes, and I want to just kind of let you know that because this is our intro episode, we had no guests line up, and so we basically popped in Tiffany's office and said, hey, can you be on our first episode, our intro episode? And so she's here with us. Tiffany is the director of our modern worship here at Central. And also joining me is Clay Howard, who is our communications director, and he is officially the producer of this podcast. So welcome, Clay.
Why, thank you. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Excited. This is episode 0, so it's technically not actually an episode.
Okay.
It's more of like a practice, a dry run.
I won't
if you
take
will.
offense to that.
Yeah, so she's not really actually our first guest.
Okay. So basically we want to welcome everybody to our intro dry run practice, not episode,
yeah.
podcast. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
So I would just want to welcome the two of you. Everybody who's listening in and watching, you will always see me because I am the host, but you also see Clay over here as well as the producer. So let's get started. Tiffany, how are you doing? First of all, let's start with this. Where are you from? I love this story about you. Tell us where you're from. Every place you've been from.
Well, I was born in California, but I, for the most part, resided in fabulous Las Vegas, where I dealt blackjack and met my handsome husband there. No, actually, I was a worship leader in Las Vegas at a church. They have churches in Vegas, yes. And then we moved to Indianapolis after we got married, and now we're here in beautiful Chippewa Falls.
And how long have you been married to this guy?
We're going to be on 6 years.
6 years.
This month.
Yep, coming up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
October
Not
snuck
far
up.
away.
October what?
26th.
Yep, that's it.
26.
He knew that.
6 years on the 26th.
I just said it first, that's all.
I'm not the one being interviewed right now.
So what was the day like?
Like the day we got married?
Yeah, was it hot, cold? Where did you get married?
Vegas.
No, we
Vegas.
did not get married in Vegas. We got married just outside of Vegas, so I can say that we did not get married.
Not one of
Vegas.
those drive-through chapel things. You guys did not.
We
do
had
that.
a lot of friends who worked in drive-through chapels, but we did not get married in a drive-through chapel. No.
So you graduated in Vegas, right? What
Yes.
high school did you go to?
Foothill High School, actually in Henderson, Nevada, which is a suburb just outside of Vegas, which is super nerdy to say that. 'Cause most people just don't care.
So I went to Vegas my very first time this year, and I went for 3 days, and it was probably about 2.5 days too long to go to Vegas. So my question is, what on earth does a teenager do in Vegas? I mean, what does Vegas? I mean, what's it like growing up in Vegas?
It's one of those things where you don't realize it's weird until you leave. So, we have normal things like bowling alleys and movie theaters and mini golf. The only caveat is that they're all inside of casinos.
Yeah.
And so as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, you have to go inside of a casino to do anything fun. So the sound of slot machines is really actually soothing to me. So, yeah, there's not much.
She puts the sound on before we go to bed.
Yeah.
It's like a 8-hour YouTube video of slot machines.
A lot of people use like white noise or crickets or waterfalls. I use slot machines to fall asleep. Yeah.
Nice. So you go from Vegas, Nevada to
Indianapolis.
You two lovebirds moved to Indianapolis. What did you do in Indianapolis?
I worked at a church in Indianapolis, and we honestly moved there. We didn't know anybody, so we wanted to be closer to his family who's in Ohio, and nobody ever stays in Vegas, so we wanted to get out of Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah, and we lived there for 4 years, something like that.
Yeah, I don't even know how many years we were there.
Yeah, so I worked at a church out there doing similar worship stuff, and
you were a bartender too, weren't you? Or were you a
a
coffee
little bit.
barista?
Yeah, I did coffee and I did a little bartending, a little bit of serving, like waitressing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was fun, and I just like meeting people. I'm painfully extroverted, so if I'm not constantly meeting people, I get really bored and sad. So that's a nice way to get out there and meet normal people outside of my church bubble.
Yeah. So then we interview you up here in little old Chippewa Falls, right?
My goodness.
Right? And so we get a hold of you. I love this story that you tell. And so you're going to come up here for an interview. We're going to fly you and Clay up here. And so tell us about how you learned, what you first learned about Chippewa, because you're like, okay, we're going to come to this interview. And we don't, is it Chippewa?
Chippewa.
Yeah. So yeah, talk about that.
Well, so I didn't honestly do a ton of research, but I think I went on the Go Chippewa website, and it has all of the touristy stuff that you can do here, and has all of the demographics, which is all interesting stuff. Clay decided he wanted to Google it and look it up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I went straight to YouTube. That's what I did.
What did you find?
Yeah.
It was like a Wisconsin,
Go Wisconsin,
travel YouTube page, and they would go to different cities and do a little like short 20-minute highlight of these little cities. And so they had one for Chippewa Falls, and I think that was really honestly what sold us. And so props to whoever made that video, because it's actually really well done. They talked about Olson's ice cream, they talked about Oktoberfest, and I think they talked about Liney's maybe. And yeah, and so because at first just the name Chippewa Falls, I'm just going to put it out there, not necessarily the best thing the city has going for it, to an outsider at least. It's just the name, just kind of like, I don't know.
Being major city people.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, it sounds very secluded. Like my dad didn't think that you guys had computers and stuff, any kind of colleges or like education up here. And so, but once we saw the video and started watching it, we're like, wow, this is actually pretty cool. It's got this small town feel. I like ice cream and Oktoberfests. So
See, I was
immediately,
talking about the other video that you found.
Yeah, yeah. Remember the
Yeah,
the initial one, wasn't it? You said it was beer and tubing.
Yeah,
it was Fat Farm.
Fat Farm.
That's right.
That was the second video.
That was the second
okay.
video.
And it was a little old. I don't want to comment on that video, but that was a little alarming. Just some of the people they were interviewing, I was like, ooh. But the first video was really nice, and it seemed really charming and quaint. And so I was like, oh, because we've literally jumped from kind of major city to major city most of our lives. So something a little more small without computers sounded nice.
So before Chippewa, what was the smallest city that you spent time in? Like at least more than like maybe a couple months. I mean, did you even do that? I mean,
well, I grew up near San Francisco, but not. I mean, I was 45 minutes from it in a town called Antioch, California.
So
that was a pretty small town. Yeah, everybody kind of knew each other. It was kind of similar to this, where there's a lot of local businesses, and it was nice when I lived there. I think it's kind of ghetto now. It's pretty gangster.
And I live 20 minutes from Columbus, Ohio. So if you don't count Columbus and you count New Albany, where I grew up, that would probably be smallest. Because then I went to Vegas, and then I went to Indianapolis, which is about the same size as Columbus, and then here.
yeah.
So
it was awesome. So we bring you up here, and we actually ended up getting on the same plane because I was flying back. If you remember, I was flying back from Atlanta, Georgia, from a conference. I went to the Orange Conference.
And we were playing chicken because, like, you saw me and I saw you. Clay was in the bathroom. And I remember I was texting Clay. And I was like, I think I see the guy, but I don't know why he would be here in it. Like, or was it Chicago?
Yeah, it was in Chicago.
Yeah, I was like, why is he in Chicago? Because you
Yep.
didn't tell me you were flying that day. So
Yep.
I had no idea. I was like, this is super weird. Why is he in Chicago?
Yeah. And so I did the same thing. Like, I went into the bathroom and I texted my parents, who were going to drop my truck off for me at the airport. And I said, could you please clean my truck? Because I'm taking Tiffany, who we're interviewing, and her husband, Clay. We're going to go right away. So I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I saw it because I'm like, yes, there's Tiffany with a guitar. I believe that's Tiffany. So
this was back when you had more powerful prescription glasses, and so your eyes were even smaller, and so it looked like a groundhog or a mole was like staring at us from over there.
Like Arthur?
Yeah, like Arthur when he takes his glasses off. That's what you looked like. And so I was like, who's that little eyed person that's staring at us over there?
It's like, stop looking at my wife.
Okay, well, that's nice. Thanks.
Thankfully, your prescription's changed. Your eyes are at a more normal
Yeah.
size
Your glasses
now.
are very sporty.
And we're at about a year and a half now, so we're really comfortable.
Let's talk more about your glasses.
Yeah, let's not. Let's keep moving on. So we land in Eau Claire Municipal Airport, basically. And
Can I just comment that it was a very shaky landing?
yes,
Yep.
It was a very small plane. It was very windy, and there was quite a bit of turbulence.
yes.
Okay,
And
continue.
So we stop in, or we land. We get in my truck, which thankfully my mom cleaned like unbelievable. It was
Thanks, Anita.
Yes, thank you. Shout out to Mom. Whoop. And
These are good details that the listeners need to hear.
yes. And so we get in, and I decide to start driving you around Eau Claire, right? Like, you're interviewing for a job in Chippewa, so let's show you Eau Claire. Duh.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, right. And so we're driving around, and we're
Well, and it was like every 5 seconds, you're like, ooh, I got to show you this.
yeah,
Right?
yep. And I'm turning you, and so did we stop at my house first?
No, we
No.
went downtown
That
first.
was
We
and
ate
why
lunch.
on earth would I have you show you my house. Man, that's weird.
I
You had to
no
stop
idea.
there for something.
You had to let your dog out.
I have
or
to get
something,
better
I don't
for
know.
interviews. So we stopped for lunch down at, do you remember?
Yeah, the Informalist.
The Informalist.
Bougie
We had
pizza.
amazing pizza.
And our server was from the same place.
So
in
that's
Indy,
what
yeah.
I was trying to get at, and I'm getting sidetracked so much. But so the server comes, and I asked them. Do you remember? I asked them what they love so much about the Chippewa Valley, Chippewa Falls, Eau Claire, and he goes, "Oh my God, I am from Indianapolis."
No, he said he was from Broad Ripple, which is a very small.
Small.
Yeah.
Where we
small-
lived,
Yeah,
and
where
then-
we lived. Yeah.
Where you lived, and he's like, he basically said, I moved up here, school, all that stuff, and I've stayed here because it's so awesome. It's got the same kind of feel. And he leaves, and I remember you turned to me and you looked like, and you said, "Did you pay him to say that?" You know,
Totally.
all that good stuff.
Paid actors.
You totally
Yes.
did.
So we stopped at my house. I remember this, and you were car sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was probably pale, very pale, and I didn't tell you that I was car sick. I was like, "Can I use your bathroom?" And yeah, I definitely.
Then she used it.
definitely
She did. So, moving on. So the interview's a whole weekend, and basically what we did was we packed full as much eating as we possibly could, drinking beer.
Absolutely.
Tell us what was your favorite part of that weekend? Was it Cobblestone?
Oh, the hotel was very nice. Yeah, the cobblestone's awesome.
It was very bougie.
Yeah.
Bougie. I was
We
waiting
felt
for
like,
it.
I
felt
also
like you
love
guys.
Pam was very sweet and left us a little care package in the hotel because Pam is the sweetest human being in the world,
Yeah.
and so that was nice.
No, my favorite was all the meat they fed us, but
Oh man, we had a dinner at the Sturgis's, and there was so much meat that
Yep.
there was like bratwurst and venison
And everything was venison.
everything in
Yeah.
between. Yeah.
And more beer.
we were wined and dined hard.
Yes.
It was awesome. I had a great time.
We did the Sheely House. That was pretty
The
great.
Sheely House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did the distillery at one point.
Mm-hmm.
We started at the distillery.
We started there. Yes.
Went to Yep.
Yeah.
We
it
wanted
was
to just
awesome.
kind of.
I've never drank on an interview. That was really. I thought I was being tested. I was like, this is a test. I'm not.
Yep.
That is awesome. So part of your interview, we took you to Liney Lodge because you have to in
Oh,
Chippewa.
yeah,
I mean, that's just
absolutely.
kind of like you go to Chippewa, you got to stop at the Liney Lodge. Tell us about your assumption about Liney's before you arrived in Chippewa, and then what happened in Chippewa that just basically, I could just see the endless possibilities just blowing up in front of you as you're sitting in the Liney Lodge.
Well, first off, nobody outside of Wisconsin calls it Liney's. And so Clay and I were very confused as to what Liney's was before we went there. And then we heard Liney Lodge, and then we realized it was Leinenkugel, which Clay very recently learned how to pronounce.
Yep.
It was,
Correctly.
I think it was like Leinenkugel.
Something like that, yeah.
But yeah, before we moved here, if you heard anything, you never heard Leinenkugel, you heard Summer Shandy. And only Summer Shandy is the only thing that you'll find outside of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
At least to our knowledge.
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean-
Liney's original? Not even that?
No.
I've never
I didn't
seen
even know
Liney's,
that
yeah.
was a thing until we got here, and then I was like, oh, they have like an original normal beer, because I assumed everything was
Or
flavored,
fruity, yeah.
or had some kind of pumpkin or whatever, which I didn't even know that till I got here, really. And then all of a sudden I was like, wait, they make like regular beer too? And then now I pretty much only drink Liney's.
Yeah.
So.
I think you bought up half their attire.
Yeah.
And-
Yep. I got all swagged out, and I buy their beer, and that's
your
pretty much all I drink.
Your favorite beer now is Canoe Paddler, right?
Yep, Canoe Paddler, and then if they don't have that, which they now always have it, original too
Original.
is good. Yeah, but Canoe Paddler for sure. And their Oktoberfest is pretty clutch.
Yeah.
I really like the Harvest Patch Shandy. It's like a pumpkin spice latte, but beer.
It is
Yeah.
pretty good,
It's so
but
good.
it's hard to get anyone to want to have one, because they're like, you want to try this pumpkin flavored beer? And people are like, ooh.
You can't knock it till you try it, though.
Nope.
It is good.
No.
I was surprised at how good it tasted.
Yeah.
So.
Summer Shandy's like, I can have maybe one. If I, like
It's
a
nice on a hot day.
really hot summer
Yeah.
day, and just to kind of take the edge off the thirst.
And I'm a girl, so I like fruity stuff.
Those mixed ones they have, though, are amazing.
yeah.
Like nobody doesn't like those.
So you've been here. So this was July of 18, and you've been here, like I said, for a little over a year already, almost a year and a half. What's something that you've just come to like? So when friends ask you that have never been to Chippewa and they're like, "Hey, how's it going? What do you know? What's Chippewa like?" What are the things that you just have come to really enjoy about this city?
Well, one thing that stood out, I mean, from the beginning, is people are so friendly here. And not just Midwestern polite, like, "Hey, how you doing? Good. How are you? Good." And then that's it. People just want to hear your life story. Like, I can't get anywhere quickly, which took a little getting used to, but, like, you know, you run to Walgreens to go grab something really quick because you forgot to get it. And then you get to the checkout, and then the person's like, "Oh, where are you from? Oh, how long have you lived here? What do you do here?" And it's like, wow, people genuinely care to know about people here, which is really neat. And then the other thing that I think Clay and I have grown to love, was a little hard to adjust to at first, but there's not a ton of chains in Chippewa.
Yeah.
It's very
Local.
local driven, and they're proud of that, and people are really great about supporting local here. And so we're starting to get to know all the different local things, and even still, like, we lived here a year and we're still finding new gems. I mean, we went to, what was the place we went to over on the West Hill?
Oh, West Hill Bar.
West Hill Bar,
I can't believe it took you that long to go to the West Hill Bar.
I don't think that's it.
I don't think that's it.
Yeah. West Hill. Over it's on the West.
Yeah.
I can't believe it took you till October.
Yeah. And so there's little things like that we keep finding. And, I mean, we've started to notice, too, some of the best places are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
we're enjoying finding all these
Albertville
awesome,
Tavern.
Yeah, Albertville.
Yeah.
And then, what was the one that we went to with Tammy? Connell's.
Yeah.
Connell's Supper
Connell's
Club.
is great,
Got
yeah.
a supper club galore.
But that's the thing.
is
You
up
walk into these places, and some of them don't look like a place that their expertise is in food, and it just looks like a bar. And you're like, because where we come from, most places, if they look like that, they have like
It's divey. And
they have like microwave pizzas that they sprinkle like chicken nuggets on top of it and throw it in the microwave, and they're like,
That's
"Here
a
you
legit
go.
place in Indy, by the
That'll
way.
be $8," and it's just. But you come here and you walk into a bar and you're like, "There's no way." And then you look at the menu and they have 1,800 different options for a burger, and you're
it's
like,
all homemade
"Ooh."
sauces.
And it's so
yeah.
good, and they clearly know what they're doing back there, and it blows your
there.
mind.
Yep. So it's because this is my assumption of you two.
Assume away.
Assume away. I feel like for every home cooked dinner you do, you eat out 3 times.
Yeah, we're not very good at. We need to.
So my question is this: Wednesday nights here at Central are super long, right? It's a long day of work. You two are famished. You're hungry. You're not gonna go home and make food. Where is your go-to? Okay, let's remove Burger King. Remove those kind of chain things.
Okay.
Where is your go-to favorite place to grab some food? And I think I know which one you're gonna say, but go ahead.
I don't know. It's a tie for me because it just depends on how I'm feeling that night.
It's not a tie for me.
I would say River Inn.
Yes.
River Inn.
Because I am so hungry sometimes on Wednesdays, and they do all-you-can-eat jumbo chicken wings.
Yep.
And, I mean, I'm just going to say it. I put on some weight since I've been here, since we moved to Chippewa, because them jumbo chicken wings, though,
They good.
Yeah.
they're so good. The only problem with that, though, is that they're literally so fresh, and you're so hungry when you get there. So when they finally put the chicken on your plate, it's so hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
And so you're like trying not to eat this like burn your face hot chicken, but you're so hungry. So usually my mouth is just destroyed when we leave there.
It hurts so good.
Yes.
What about you? Is the same thing?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What was
Really?
it? What is it to
Well,
tie
it was
with?
going to tie with fill-in.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
fill-in is just so close, and it's so, I mean, we have our favorite servers there. We
Yeah.
love Joan. Shout out to Joan if you're
Yep,
listening.
Joan.
She's my girl.
She rocks.
She knows that Clay likes jalapenos a lot.
On my
and
pizza.
so,
Yeah,
yes.
she knows.
But yeah, I mean, we love fill-in, and usually when we go to fill-in, we always run into people we know from just around, and there's always a friend at fill-in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that their slogan? There's always a friend. Oh, is that Cheers?
I know, that's where everybody knows your name.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay.
They don't know our names at fill-in. She just knows you like jalapenos.
I'm
Close
trying.
enough.
I've heard it said 2 different ways to describe Chippewa, and I'm trying to figure out which way I think it is. But I've heard it say it's a small town with a large city feel or vibe, or it's a large city with a small town feel.
I would go with the first one.
First one?
Absolutely. Because it's small town. I mean, everywhere we go, we always see somebody we know, which is nice. And we've only been here a year, so I feel like we shouldn't know people when we go places, but we usually do.
Well, being at the church helps.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But yeah, you have everything here.
Yeah, and this city, this city prides itself. They are not a part of Eau Claire, right?
Yeah.
And so they take great pride in that. But what also the part that makes it feel like a big city too is like yesterday I had to run an errand for worship.
Aaron ran an errand.
Aaron ran an errand. Badoom. Thank you. I'll be here all night. But I had to run an errand, and I had to go to the party store for all the party poppers, that we handed out. And I could literally get to the south side of Eau Claire and back in a half hour.
Yeah.
Like I left church at 4 and I came back at like 4:35. And that's what I love about it. You can,
like, what is traffic even?
Yeah.
Like,
so the Chippewa Valley is just really awesome. And you two, the other place you two, that you two love going to because of just what you do with your creative arts and music is you love the Pablo Center. That was a big thing. And you guys just went to Switchfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct?
A couple nights ago.
Shout out to Pablo Center.
Pablo.
Yeah. Every time we go in there, I feel like it's
I'm
like
underdressed.
Yeah, underdressed. It feels very fancy.
It's so nice.
But they put on good shows. The mixes are always great, and
their ushers are very friendly and smiling. I've never been to a venue that had such happy ushers.
Yeah.
And their prices seem good. I mean, you can get in the balcony for the show we went to is like $27 for balcony, and balcony isn't terrible. You can actually see pretty well.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're miles away and stuff. So.
Well, and here's another testament to Midwestern niceness. Halfway through the show, a very nice man came all the way up to the balcony and gave us his front row center seats. It was just, he was like, "Hey, I saw you guys up here. You look like fans, so here's my tickets." Like, what?
There you go.
Yeah.
People are so nice.
How would you describe the music scene to somebody who's not familiar with the Chippewa Valley and music scene, everything from Chippewa, from this city to Eau Claire?
It's definitely stronger in Eau Claire than it is here, but there are some venues downtown here to play. Mm-hmm. We don't go
we haven't gotten to a lot of the venues out here yet. I know that, if you look, you will find live music always. Mm-hmm. We just haven't looked at it.
I'm usually looking for the all-you-can-eat chicken wing specials
that's kind of the priority
the
list.
shows, but
music is the cherry on top.
Right,
There's music,
exactly.
great.
Yeah. We need to find the best chicken wings, then we'll find the best music venue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of singer-songwriters, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a thing. So, I don't know. I haven't even really got into the Eau Claire music scene as much, but I'm sure it's a little bit stronger there. So,
and there's so many great outdoor venues. And so in the summertime, in the springtime, there's just always a concert. I think there was one every Sunday here at the Riverfront Park.
Yeah.
And then the Phoenix Park one in Eau Claire was really neat. We got to see Justin Arnold play there. We got to see them Cooley Boys play there. And so, there's definitely always live music. You can always find it.
Yeah. I definitely think we could use some more original music and not as much cover band stuff. But I get it. Cover bands are easy. People like them. And it's easier. But that's not just this city. A lot of cities struggle with, that there's a ton of cover bands. Nothing against cover bands. They're fine and they work great a lot of the time. But
I will say the first time we ever hung out with Aaron in downtown Eau Claire, we went to the Mouse Trap, something like that. No.
We went to a couple different places, but
something like
where was
that.
the one with the music, the live music?
That was the Mouse Trap.
Yeah.
I will say, the band, I think they only played one song when we were there.
Because they were like sound checking.
And they were really good, and I'm really bummed that I never knew who they were.
I think it was Greg Gilbertson.
Was it? Okay, I'll have to Google him.
Greg Gilbertson. Yeah.
Greg Gilbertson. And
I dug it. I thought it was great.
That was cool.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe this, but there's probably no other pastor that would take somebody into the Mouse
Am I in
Trap
trouble for mentioning that?
an interview. I can guarantee.
No,
you.
that wasn't during an interview.
It wasn't.
It was after we moved here.
It was with your college friends.
Okay, then it's all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Mouse Trap has amazing music.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm still waiting for some more. We got them Cooley Boys are kind of local heroes, but I feel like there's another great musical act prodigy that's going to pop up at some point. So
Okay.
keep your ears open.
I think so too. And
I hope so.
I think she might even. Well, did I just show my hand? Who I think it might be?
I think
No,
you
it's
did, and
not me.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't know.
No. I think she sings in our modern worship. I think she's only like a sophomore in high school.
yeah,
right now.
definitely
I
that
see.
one.
I see.
I wouldn't say that she's Chippewa though.
She's in Chippewa County.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
county.
enough.
Gotta
And
think
we
the
might
county.
In
have
the
to-
county,
We
yes.
might have to book her to be on this podcast. To be on a show. It'd be really good. Talk to her.
I don't
about
know
it.
if she'll say much.
Yeah.
So this is great. I just want to say how awesome this is that our first kind of introductory, not show, practice basically turned into talking about food and beer
pretty much.
and local bars.
That might
So-
become a normal thing for the show. It might always kind of go in that direction.
Well, Tiff, thank you so much for being on this episode.
thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is awesome. And again, for all of you who are listening and watching, make sure you subscribe to our podcast and so that you don't miss don't miss an episode when an episode is released. So we just really thank everybody for listening and tuning in.
Yeah, and if you have any feedback or anything, YouTube comments right now I think is the way to do it. So any suggestions or gripes or comments, anything like that, throw them on there, and we can. We're working on. This is a work in progress. It'll continue to get better, and I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited. We need to sit down and just build a list of people that we think would be good to have on here, because I know I have a ton floating in my head. I'm pretty sure you do too.
Yep.
Yeah, so if you have ideas on who you guys want,
Right.
like comment who you want to see on here.
Yeah, let us know, and I think it's gonna be good. So I think it won't be long before the governor of Chippewa will be here, and
The
we'll have
governor of
The
Chippewa.
governor.
Sir Governor herself will be here. So there's only one way to move, and that's up.
Yep. Well, thank you again for joining us here at the For Chippewa Studio, where we believe that every person has a story to tell and everyone's welcome.